In this new video series, we will plan to explore different tech topics, ideas related to Python, Excel, Power Query, etc. with the aim of keeping every video under 5 minutes. We will start off with looking at creating pivot tables using Python Pandas. Let's look at our starting dataset. The dataset we are using is for a typical supermarket sales data, with each row representing a transaction. Let's load the dataset in Python Pandas. So let me switch over to Visual Studio. Let me import the libraries. So we will use the NumPy library for aggregations and pivot table. We will use pd.readExcel to load in the data. If you'd like to learn more on read_excel function, you should be able to see a link on the screen to its reference video. Since our file is located in the same folder as my code is, I can just give the file name to it and it should work. Once the data is loaded, we will check the data using df.head. Okay, so you can see that we have our data loaded. Alright, so I have copy pasted some of the structure as well as some of the parameters and what they mean. So the index column is the actual grouping column. So for example, if you're grouping on a city or a customer type, you would put that column in the index. The columns we will skip for now. We will come back to this later. For values, we will include any column for which you would want to do some calculation. In the ag func, you will pass the calculation you would need to perform on the columns you added in the values parameter. So let's start filling in. So I'm just going to put this equal to df_piv, piv as in pivot. The first argument you would give to pd.pivot table is the data frame name, which is df. If this is different, you can change it. So for index column, I'm going to just give one column as a starting point, that would be city. Columns, I'm just going to comment this line out for now. For values, we will give quantity and total column. For aggregate function, we will do np.sum. So let's load the data set and look at the top 3 rows doing head. Right, so far so good, our pivot table works. Now we can make it complex by adding more columns to index parameter. So let's add gender column and rerun this. Now you can see that it has now divided data based on city and the gender. So if I do head 6 or let's say 7, you will see more data here. So now you can see that the data for this line is divided in 514 and 5 equals 1080, and the total value is divided as well between male and female. Now let's dig more into ag func parameter by looking at 2 examples. Let's say you would like different calculations for quantity and total column. Pandas pivot table can handle it, unlike Microsoft Excel pivot, where you can only perform same calculation for all of the columns. We would need to pass a dictionary to ag func parameter, so let's do that. I'm just going to copy and paste and create a new pivot table. So I'm going to say df_piv2. Now I'm going to pass 2 different aggregations to ag func. For the quantity column, I will do np.sum, and for the total column, I am going to do np.mean. And if you compare it with the above, you can see that the quantity column is same because we did the same as before, np.sum. But for the total column, we are doing average now, or you can say arithmetic mean. So this is different from before. For our last example, we will look at a scenario where we want to calculate multiple aggregations for same column. So let's say for total column, let's calculate mean plus count as well. So I'm going to copy and paste and create another pivot table. I'm going to say df_piv3. We can do this by passing a list of aggregations to the ag func. We already have one aggregation for total column. I'm just going to convert this into a list, and I'm going to add count here. And let's run this. Let me see. Right, so I did not close the bracket. My bad. Okay, now you can see that total column has a count, which we added count, and a mean as well. So this total column has been divided into 2 different aggregations. Now this is not possible with regular Microsoft Excel. Now let's extract this to Excel for review. So we are going to say df_piv.toExcel. Just going to extract one of these, the latest one. Alright, we can see that we have pivot_data. Let's open it up, and we have the pivot data we need. You can format this as you like. I have previously created a video on formatting data using Excel links. I will add the link to the video on the screen. Keep in mind that if you use index_false here, like you normally do, this will not work. This winds up the first video on this under 5-minute series. If you like the content, please consider supporting the channel by liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.